What's up, guys? I'm DK Wrestler, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing a top 10 list of my favorite Funko Pops that were announced for the month of June 2025. And let me tell you, there are a lot of cool reveals, including San Diego Comic-Con last week. But if you end up enjoying this type of content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. But nonetheless, let's kick this off. So coming in at number 10 on this list is the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive 10-inch Ente from Pokemon. Now, I really like the fact that we do have Ente here as a Comic-Con exclusive. Of course, for WonderCon a few months back, we had Suicune, we have Ente here, and then it's only going to be a matter of time before we get New York Comic-Con reveals, and that's when we'll get Raikou as the last one to finish off the Gen 2 legendaries. However, I think my only gripe and why it doesn't go any higher is the fact that this pop is a 10-inch figure. Coming in at number 9 on my list is the Doc with Time Machine Pop Rides from Back to the Future. Now, this is really awesome for two reasons. First off, we got ourselves more Back to the Future pops, but the fact that we have the first Time Machine Pop Rides since the OG version where it came with the OG Marty McFly. And although I do think that that OG Time Machine, which I do have in my collection, is significantly better than this one, this is really awesome for the fans that have joined, let's say, in the last few years or so and could never obtain that OG Time Machine. Now they can add one to their collection, but with Doc Brown this time around instead of Marty McFly. And this is going to be added to my collection at some point, so I thought I would add a pop that I am going to be adding to my collection onto this list at least. Coming in at number 8 on my list is the Anime Expo exclusive Elemental Hero Shining Flare Wingman from Yu-Gi-Oh! Once again, this falls under the category of pops that I will be adding to my collection since I have a near complete set of Yu-Gi-Oh! Pops. The detail of this pop is really awesome, and especially the fact that this will be a metallic pop makes it even better because of the armor that's involved. And it also makes me really happy that for a convention that isn't really up my realm for anime, I actually can get something and add the exclusive sticker into my collection since I do like collecting many stickers when it comes to the Funko Pop exclusives. However, it's not high up like a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Pops, considering that I don't think this really is the best of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Pops that I've seen. Coming in at number 7 on my list is the Funko exclusive Crusty doll from the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. Now, the new Simpsons set is pretty cool, especially with the different speech bubble pops of Homer and Bart Simpson, but there's something about this Crusty specifically where the detail is so awesome with the way that the facial expression is and the detail of what looks to be a pull string to let you know that it is a doll. Really awesome to get something that's kind of similar to the OG Crusty, and especially the one that is a part of this set that is a common is probably the closest most people might get to that OG Crusty. But like I mentioned, the detail is the reason why this is pretty high up on the list. Coming in at number 6 on my list is the Michael Scott and Holly Flax 2-pack from The Office. Once again, The Office is a set where I do collect all the pops for, and besides the new set, I only need to get 2 pops to complete it. But I wasn't really thrilled about the whole wave of pops. I get that it's all based off of the Scranton Volleyball Tournament, I believe, but the only reason that I chose this 2-pack is the fact that we're getting the first ever Holly Flax pop, and I felt that Holly deserved to have a different moment for her as her first ever Funko Pop. Coming in at number 5 on my list is the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Pingu. I was so excited when this got announced, considering that I never thought of the idea that Funko would actually make pops for Pingu, a show that I definitely watched as a very small child, and I think it definitely translated well into pop form. I can't wait to see this in person, considering I want to know how basically like the beak is of the penguin. Is it going to be extended out to where he's saying newt newt? But regardless, the first ever Pingu pop, it definitely makes sense for a Comic-Con exclusive since a lot of times Funko will introduce pops as Comic-Con exclusives. Coming in at number 4 on my list is the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Jorgen von Strangle and Tooth Fairy 2-pack from Fairly Odd Parents. Now, this is really awesome. Funko's been killing it as of late with the Fairly Odd Parents pops. Of course, we had the new wave with the Timmy, Cosmo, and Wanda that we've already had pops for, but we had a variant for Wonder earlier con that was the anti-Cosmo and Wanda, and then the exclusives for the set where it does have a brand new character, but now we actually have a very requested new character that has been transformed into pop form here with Jorgen von Strangle, and adding the Tooth Fairy is really awesome to make it a 2-pack. They did a really great job with how this is pulled off, especially that extended chin. And I feel like it's honestly a matter of time at this point where we'll finally get a Crimson Chin Funko Pop. It's gotta happen, probably at New York Comic Con. Coming in at number 3 on my list is Agent Perry from Phineas and Ferb. Now, I was really excited for the prospect of Phineas and Ferb Pops, but if you've watched previous episodes of This Week in Collectible News, you've heard my opinions about both the Phineas and Ferb Pops themselves, but the Perry Pops are really awesome. Everything about it with the eyes, the hat, they did this pop so perfectly, and already, in my opinion, is probably one of the top contenders for best Funko Pop of 2025. Coming in at number 2 on my list is the Doc and Marty moments from Back to the Future. Now, like I mentioned with the Doc with Time Machine, Back to the Future is one of those sets that I collect a lot of pops for, so this definitely had to make it on the list. And I really like the fact that they created this moment, and not only that, the fact they actually added mouths to it to enhance the facial expression, which is rarely done already for pops. I know they do that quite a bit with anime, and I think had this moments not have the mouths added to it, I think it may have not even cracked the top 3 portion or top 5 portion of the list. And before we make it to the number 1 pop, I'm going to be showing off 3 honorable mentions when it comes to this list. Today I wanted to give a shout out to Sentinel 107, and the reason that they ended up getting a shout out is because they joined our YouTube channel membership, which only cost $1.99 a month. Not only do you get the shout out, but you do get lots of other perks, including early access to every single video and shorts that we produce on this channel. So definitely consider joining our YouTube channel membership. It will be greatly appreciated and will go a long way of helping out this channel a lot. So definitely consider it, but let's get right back to the video. First honorable mention actually being related to Back to the Future being the hoverboard chase deluxe moments. Now, I like the fact that this was turned into a moments, but I was not expecting that it was going to be a deluxe moments. And I guess for the fact that there are 5 characters involved, that it definitely makes sense, but it takes so much space in your collection and it's gonna cost so much money for me to get this. But I thought I would put in an honorable mention because I know I'm gonna be adding this at some point, but a lot of the 4-inch pops that I discussed about I feel are better and deserve to be on that list more than this one. The second honorable mention on my list is the entire set of the Land Before Time pops. This was probably one of the most hyped sets of the month of June 2025, but it was so difficult for me to decide which one of many great pops of this set I was going to add on to this list, but I decided that I'm just going to add it on the honorable mentions list, not only because I couldn't decide what pop I wanted out of this set, but I actually don't think I'm going to be buying any of these pops and adding it to my collection, so at least I'm going to add it to my honorable mention. But if you list your top 10 down below, I wouldn't be surprised if 1 or 2 pops from the set would be on your list. And the last honorable mention on my list is the entire set of the Wizards of Waverly Place pops. This is a show that I watched a lot of as a kid, and I actually have watched a few episodes of the sequel series. I think it's Wizards Beyond Waverly Place or something like that. And these are a perfect set of pops where you only need to do the kids. Maybe at some point we'll get Jerry, maybe Teresa, maybe some of the other characters like, let's say, Justin's vampire girlfriend that's played by the same actress in Good Luck Charlie. I kind of wish they made these pops when they were more younger, but these are pops I believe that are closer to the end of the series because they do look much older than they were when it was the beginning of the series. And even though this was a show I watched a lot of as a kid, you know what else I watched a lot of as a kid? The pop that makes it number 1 on this list, which is the Zack and Cody 2-pack from The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. I was so ecstatic when this made it onto a leaked list many months ago. I was so excited that Funko finally decided to make Pops for The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody my favorite Disney Channel show that I watched as a kid. And I love the fact that they just made it into a 2-pack and not separated into 2 singular Pops. Maybe at some point they'll make singular Pops of different moments between both of those characters, but just doing the 2-pack at the moment is absolutely amazing. And if perhaps this might be the only Sweet Life of Zack and Cody Pops they make, I'd be perfectly fine. I am going to be adding this into the collection when it releases. I'm not going to think twice about saying, oh, am I going to wait until a 30% off sale or get it right away? I'm probably going to get it right away.